Welcome back to the BSH Brief. Bend High. I'm your host, Caden Freese, and today we're joined by someone who's always on duty, building connections, keeping campus safe, and showing that there's more to the badge than meets the eye. It's our very own school resource officer, John Horvath.
Hi.
Also with us are two amazing student guests helping out today.
Hi, I'm Josiah.
I'm Cami.
All right, let's just jump right in. All right, John, if you can tell us a little bit about you. We want to know about you, whether it's your family, your past schooling, past careers. We just want to know, who is John?
All right, well, let's start out. I was born in Yonkers, New York. If you're not from there in Oregon, that's Yonkers, New York, translated to what you guys probably understand.
Yep.
I moved to Southern California, Mission Viejo, 2 days before my freshman year of high school. So there was a little bit of culture shock there. If you guys could think back to the magical time of the 80s, 20 years before you were all born, dressed in all like acid wash jeans, a little peach fuzz mustache, that kind of stuff. There was a bit of culture shock there. I was called Yonkers for a long time. So I went to high school there. Then I went to college at SDSU in San Diego State University. Fun fact, my wife, who I met there, was friends with our assistant principal, Karen Steiner. So the three of us went to college together. I've been a cop. I was a cop in San Diego for 20 years, and then I've been a cop here in Bend for almost 4.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What got you into policing in the first place?
Well, if you ask my wife, it appeals to my two talents of yelling at people and driving real fast.
Okay.
But neither of which you can do anymore as a police officer. So,
That's unfortunate.
Actually, why I wanted to do it was my father-in-law. He was a cop in LA, and he had a lot of funny stories, and it just seemed like a fun job. And I used to work. I went to college. I was a journalism major, and then like 5 or 6 years after I graduated, I was working in TV and radio, doing different stuff, marketing. I was the assistant program director for a television station, and just the office life was slowly draining my soul. I was dying, and I wanted a job where I could
A little more excitement.
do something outside. Yeah, a little more excitement, and just sounded like a fun job. So,
Is this your first time being an SRO, or is this?
first time, yeah. So I'd never done anything like this before, not in San Diego. Came to Bend, and it came available, and it just seemed like it'd be an interesting job, something fun to do, something different. So,
I mean, can you give us a little bit of a layout of an SRO? I feel like a lot of people don't fully know like what it is you do or what powers you have.
Sure. So some kids think my sole purpose here is to just bust them. That is not the role of a school resource officer. My job is I am here to assist with criminal stuff, like, you get busted for vaping in the bathroom, drinking on campus, that kind of stuff that I get involved with. My main role here is the safety of the students, like everybody here at the school. I'm here to be a deterrent for anything bad happening on campus. I'm here to do safety plans for things, and just assist the administration in any way possible. So I do, like, sometimes kids will get suspended for stuff, so I'll be part of that meeting, but then they also, they'll face the administrative punishment and then also like a criminal punishment if they did something to break the law. Mm-hmm. But my main role here is just to provide safety for the school, to be a mentor for you guys if you have any questions or whatever, and then also to educate. I haven't had much chance to do that because I've been pretty busy, but I'd like to maybe try to do something like a cop talk or something where kids can come and ask whatever you were afraid to ask a cop, or whatever crazy questions you guys have. I'd be happy to answer them. So
I love that idea. That's awesome.
It could be a podcast form too if you want.
Hey, there you go. That'd make a great episode. Okay, that's awesome. Well, I mean, I don't think, none that I know of, there haven't been any major incidents this year at least. I remember at least like 2 years ago, you weren't here, but we had a threat that was pretty intense, and that was kind of a wild time for the school. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I was actually working that day. I was here. So,
no way.
So a bunch of us were in training that day, and then it's called swatting. What happened? Like somebody called 911, said, I'm going to shoot up the school. They were playing sounds of like gunshots in the background for the dispatcher. So basically every cop in the city showed up, police officers, sheriff's deputies, Oregon State Police, everybody showed up, and we just kind of locked down the campus. School went into lockdown, and then we just went in and cleared the building. We treated it like it was a legit thing, because I mean, when we first came on campus, you could you can kind of tell it probably was going to be swatting because we couldn't hear gunshots. We couldn't hear any of the things that the dispatcher was telling us that the caller was saying. But still, we had to err on the side of caution to make sure everybody was safe. So
100%. I think even I remember it was a bomb squad came out for a backpack left in the courtyard or something along those lines.
Yep. I do remember something like that, yeah.
That was pretty unbelievable. A pretty unbelievable day. Luckily, nothing like that has happened this year. So keeping our fingers crossed. That's pretty unbelievable. What about, like, is policing, is this the final chapter for you? Are you policing until you're done, or is there more? Maybe even sheriff or mayor?
You mean like in my career?
In your career, where are we and where we're going?
I'm towards the end of my career. I probably have like 7-8 more years left before I retire.
That's a lot of time.
It is. So I've got some goals for my career for that, but once I retire, no, I'm not going to do any more police work. I think I want to I like to build weird bicycles and work on old cars. So I want to do something like that when I retire.
Sweet. There you go.
So.
On the topic of thinking about being an SRO in general, how does it usually work? Because I know we've gone through a couple SROs in the past couple of years, but do you usually see someone stay at a school for multiple years or many years? Or so would you kind of ride this out to the end, or would you maybe try to switch before the end?
So you guys, before me, there was Amy Ward, who was here for I think 17 years or something like that, which is pretty unusual. Then there was another guy, Officer Smelzer, he was here for a short time. The commitment for me is 4 years. So this is my freshman year of high school all over again. And also, fun fact, I've been to more things at this high school than at my own high school when I was in high school.
Like events?
Oh, yeah. I'm way more involved now than when I was high school.
Super fun.
What's
your favorite event been so far?
I like the basketball games. Those are pretty fun.
Basketball's sweet.
Water polo, because my kid's on the team, so that's always fun. But yeah, I like basketball. The assemblies are pretty cool. So, but anyway, to get back to your question, so it's a 4-year commitment. And once I'm done with that, then I have to go back to patrol for at least a year before I could try to come back.
What's it like working with students who are often scared of you or scared of cops in general?
That's a hurdle that I definitely have to overcome because, most people, the police aren't called for good reasons. Nobody calls hey, Johnny got straight A's and we're having chicken for dinner. That's not a thing. So I just try to really be kind to people. I try to treat them with respect. I try to put myself in their shoes, as to what it would be to talk to somebody that I was scared of. So I try to just put everybody at ease, explain to them right off the bat why I'm talking to them. If they're not in trouble, I'll tell them, hey, I'm talking to you, but you're not in trouble. Just because I'm wearing a badge and a gun doesn't mean you're going to jail. So I try to just downplay it, keep things casual, keep things conversational, so people don't have to be needlessly nervous, I guess.
Sure. Obviously, you still work for the police department, but are you doing things outside of Bend High while you're working for Bend High, or is it basically, it's obviously not a 9 to 5, but effectively you're at the school and you're done with work for the day, or would you go and do things in the community as well?
Yeah, during the school year, this is my whole job. So I'm just here on campus. In the summertime, I have to go back to work patrol because there's no summer school or anything. So, I go back and just work regular patrol during the summers.
And you mentioned, I didn't even realize this, you have a son here?
I do.
Do you want to say his name?
It's Kieran.
Oh, I know Kieran. Okay. Dude, Kieran's awesome.
Yeah, he's a junior.
Did not realize that you two were related. Yeah, I had foods with him last year.
Yeah, I don't have the same beard he does. So.
No, yeah. I know. He's kind of showing you up, not going to lie.
Mine would be all white, so.
That's okay. That's awesome. Well, that's amazing. If we talk a little bit about school safety is kind of something I want to know about. Prom is coming up really, really soon. And, what are some concerns with that the students should be keeping in mind going into this event?
Don't bring anything that you couldn't bring to school to prom would be a basic one.
Smart.
Everyone's there to have a good time. So come with a good attitude. Come to have a good time. Don't come to cause trouble. Don't have a plan to jump into the river because I guess that's a concern because it's at the river house there.
Right. Sure.
And there's going to be access to the yard area. So they're worried about maybe kids crashing from the river or going into the river. So if that's your plan, sorry to wreck it. We already know about it.
Yeah.
So.
Please don't.
Yeah. Last year we had a kid break his leg. What will you do if that happens this year?
Michael.
I
Love
will
Michael.
talk reassuringly to him and wait for the paramedics to show up to take him to the hospital.
That's the proper response.
I know what I've heard from students a lot. Maybe you can offer some insight on this, especially when we do these lockdown drills, is typically the notion of like, why are we just staying in the classroom, sitting and waiting, like almost like they feel like sitting ducks, compared to the notion of why don't we just open a window and leave, or the door's right there, we should just all run out. Is there some validity to staying in the classroom compared to running? Obviously, you know, if the incident is in your hallway, obviously don't run out in the hallway. But maybe if you're like, oh, it's down in A hall and you're in S hall, is it worth it to go out the escape route, you know?
That's a good question. Again, there's no absolute,
100%.
but typically just doing research based off of prior incidents like that, it is safer to kind of shelter in place because number one, you don't know where the threat's coming from. Like you may hear gunshots or something, but you won't be able to know where that's coming from. So it's better just to get somewhere where you can barricade yourself in safe. I mean, if you can escape, that's not necessarily a bad idea either. There's, like I said, there's no absolute right or wrong answer. But if you go by like past incidents, the people that survive are the ones typically that shelter in place and hide somewhere it makes themselves a hard target.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are, running around in the hallways and things like that potentially could be easier targets.
100%.
Right. Easy to get a jump on them.
Yeah.
Something else I hear from the students a lot is with this year, we've really ramped up the cell phone and confiscating cell phones. And I hear from a lot of students of, oh, if they're going to try and take my phone, it's my personal property. I'm just going to tell them, no, they can't take it and not let them. Is there any insight you can offer on like the legality of being in school? And the rules are kind of different than out in the real world. Of school has a little bit more power than you actually think, and whether they can actually take your personal property, such as a cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little out of my purview because I'm here for illegal stuff. Cell phones aren't illegal, but you don't have. It's not like you're outside on the street. You're at school. It's kind of like the school administration is responsible for the student safety, responsible for making sure everybody has a productive school day. You don't have a right to be on your phone, the no cell bell to bell. It's not, in my opinion, a really hard thing to adhere to. Like you don't have to be on I know everyone's addicted to their cell phones and they want to be on checking everything all the time, but it's not that hard just to keep it on silent and put it in your pocket or put it in your backpack and not have a teacher find it. So that would be my advice is just when you come to school, just do school for the few hours you're here and then do all your other stuff outside of school.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I mean, it seems simple to me, but
Yeah, seems easy enough.
a lot of people don't do that.
It's easy as. Easy as. Well, if we talk about, it's 2025. I want to talk a little bit about policing 2025. And I mean, it is drastically different than over the past multiple decades, I would say.
Yep.
So
You're right.
can you just start off with like, what's a very common misconception about police or policing that you're seeing a lot in the news or just by word of mouth?
I think one that I see often is that like the police are always out to get everybody and we're always trying to be mean to people. We're not doing that. That's in my estimation, I've never worked with anybody in my almost 24 years of experience that's like, hey, let's go ruin somebody's day. That's not what cops are out there doing. Cops are out there looking for stuff. They are looking for, people dealing drugs. They're looking for people that steal stuff. And part of the way that the police do that is we drive around and we look for stuff that looks suspicious, that looks dodgy, and then we go investigate. And that could mean a traffic stop. That could mean, a pedestrian contact. We just walk up to somebody, hey, what's going on? Why are you wandering around at 3:00 in the morning in this neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
And some people think that we're, just butting our noses into their business, but that's kind of the reason. That's what we do. Like we're trying to see what's going on. And if you wind up, I'm just walking my dog or I'm doing whatever, my car broke down, then okay, sweet. Like have a good day. See you later. So I think that's a big misconception that cops are out there just to jam people up and ruin people's lives. Like that's not what we're trying to do.
How do you deal with your own personal safety as a cop? And just sometimes you can be in situations where you don't feel secure. And how do you deal with that?
Well, that you kind of rely on your training. Like as a police officer, you get a lot of training. You go through the police academy. You're required to just constantly be doing all kinds of training throughout your whole career. So when you're in a stressful situation, maybe you haven't had that situation in training, but you've had stressful situations. You've done things like that. So you're not thinking like, oh man, this is super scary. Like I'm getting in a fight with somebody or I'm chasing somebody. You're just thinking what needs to be done and what training you've had. So it's not even, you're not really, at least me personally, I'm never thinking like, oh, this is crazy. After the fact, yeah, like when it's all said and done and whatever happens, and you're kind of reviewing things in your head, then you're like, oh, wow, that was nuts, or I shouldn't have did this, or I could have done that better. But does that answer your question? Okay.
Yeah. Also, I guess in the recent years, I think the perception of police has kind of really, really tanked. I think really unfortunately, because I mean, you guys are a resource in the community to help and serve and protect. And one of the reasons that maybe I correlate it to, and maybe you can say if this is right or wrong, is I feel in the news so often we only see the negative police incidents. Those are the ones that make it on the news. Those are the ones that blow up on social media, and not the thousands and thousands of daily positive interactions. And is there validity to that? And secondly, how can we start changing this? How can we start changing the narrative of showing more positive interactions to people? Because I mean, what you see on the news is what you believe. And if you only see negative police interactions, that's what you're going to believe that they're doing, even though that's not the case. That's the 1 in a million or 1 in 1,000, you know?
It's true. Yeah. Statistically speaking, like the quote bad cops out there, they're very, very few and far between.
Absolutely.
And they usually get found out and get arrested for doing something, or they get fired for doing something. So the I would say probably hundreds of thousands of police contacts in a day throughout the whole country go positively, or they go according to the letter, they go according to the law, or they're a positive outcome. Like nothing bad comes out of it. But as with everything, the negative stuff is what comes to the surface. And for police officers, like, believe me, we're just as mad about the cops that do dumb stuff as the general public, right? Sure. Because if anything, it's even worse for us, because me doing my job, trying to do good work, trying to be a positive impact on the city I work in, now some cop halfway across the country does something, and then now I'm tarnished because of that person's actions. So it's something that I personally take very seriously. I try to treat everybody with respect, try to treat everybody fairly, give people the benefit of the doubt. So I know that not every officer in the whole country does that, just watching the news, but that's the way that's the way I handle myself. And I hope other police officers would do that as well. And as far as changing the perception, I agree with you. Like all the negative things, if that's all you see, if the only thing you ever come in contact with or see about the police is something negative, then of course that's gonna color your opinion on police as negative. So, I mean, just trying to get positive things out there. I think police departments are doing a better job. I've obviously worked for 2 different ones now in my career, but when I first started, there was nothing at all done about, like, if there was a police incident that maybe somebody was killed in or something like that, they would just say, oh, it's an ongoing investigation, we can't comment on it, and that was it. So people would kind of get their wheels spinning. Oh, they're covering something up. And now what you see is police departments are being proactive about that, and they're putting out the body-worn camera footage. They're releasing statements about stuff. So they're trying to get more of, like, so it's not like the police and the city, right? Like, they're trying to become more one, because it can't be 2 separate entities, because the police department and the city, the citizens, it can't be 2 separate things. They have to be together, work together for it to be positive and impactful and to work, right? So I think police departments are doing a better job of that now, but it's still not where it needs to be, I don't think.
Do you notice that people come into the interactions with you and they have those misconceptions, or they're aggressive, or they're scared?
Oh yeah, there's some people definitely. I mean, you just walk up and say hello and they're immediately pissed off or cursing at you, or they wave at you with only one finger extended, or yeah, I mean, there's definitely people like that. You just you can't take it personal. It's not me that they're mad at. It's this uniform that I'm wearing that they're mad at, and you have to be able to separate that.
Mm-hmm. I've Maybe on the other side of policing in 2025, along with maybe the changing mental perceptions, there's also been a lot of innovations with technology and specifically with policing as well. We had a crew of Bend police came into our physics class last year and told us about, their laser projections and how they can look at different crime scenes and taught us about that. And I was just curious, how has that changed your job, either for the better or for the worse, in terms of having more data at your fingertips? Does that make it easier? Or does it sometimes make it harder, more muddled?
It's interesting you ask me because I'm, as you can see, all my gray hair. I might have a different opinion as to an officer that's, in their 20s and brand new.
Sure.
Technology is great, but it doesn't replace the person that's using it, right? Like, it doesn't replace being able to talk to people. It doesn't replace having knowledge of the city you work in, where the crime's happening, all that stuff. I mean, it's helpful because it gives you more information, but I feel like at some point it's just information overload. Like, you get all these, everyone, retired cops will come up with this great idea and then sell it to a police department or something. And you get more information, but at some point it's just like, it just becomes background noise because you get bombarded with so much stuff. It still comes down to a cop pushing a cop car around the city, knowing the people that are causing trouble in the city, knowing where those people are, and trying to proactively stop them from doing that. Like, I don't think any amount of technology will replace that. That's my opinion, but I'm sure if you ask other cops, they will get a vastly different opinion because
that totally makes sense.
There are some that really, really love the technology and really buy into it. I'm just a dinosaur.
Yeah. So it's probably something about a skill of being able to use the increased, it's like a skill about knowing the trade really well and then using the increased information that you might get to your advantage.
Correct.
It's not that it necessarily changes the playing field, just makes it a little bit easier.
Right. And then it also could be because, like, I'm kind of a dummy with technology, so it would be lost on me. Like, you could give me all this stuff, but I'm like, I don't know how to use that. I just know where to go. So whereas somebody who's, maybe newer is more familiar with that stuff and is better at it. Like, right. Because you can have all the technology in the world. It's great. But if you don't know what to do with it, it's like, great. Like, I don't know how to use this camera. What am I going to do with it? Cool.
That's a fair point. Well, I have two things on maybe the differences of being an SRO compared to a standard patrolling officer. Is like, one, is there anything different on your kit, on your person, compared to a regular patrolling officer? Either added or taken away?
Not really. I mean, it's all the same stuff. We're required to carry all the same things. I mean, I carry more stickers than your average patrol officer, but there are a couple things. Like, I don't have one on me right now, but there's like, they make these things to hold doors open because, when the school goes into a lockdown, all the doors are locked, and typically only the SRO has the keys. So other officers coming, that would be an issue. So they make these little things where you can, like, leave the doors open. So I don't have any of those, but some officers carry that. There's this new thing that we're getting. I don't have one yet either, but it's like a digital flashbang. So it's this thing. You guys know what a flashbang is?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like that traditional. It's just basically you pull the trigger thing, and all these lights start flashing, and it has like a siren, like a fire alarm siren kind of thing, and it's to be used as a distraction in some kind of critical incident here at the school. So that's a new piece of kit that patrol officers wouldn't carry, but SROs would.
NPD needs to hook you up. What are they doing?
I just missed the training. I was out of town at another training when they did that. So I'm going to get one. Don't worry. Okay,
good, fair. And then secondly, what is the, maybe pressure isn't the right word, but it's the one I'm going to use for you, of like, when you're a regular patrolling officer, you're in charge of protecting the entirety of Bend, but as an SRO, you are in charge of like 2,000 specific people every day. Does that kind of up the stress level knowing that that's on you, or is it like maybe less because you're like, this is my home base and this is all I need to worry about?
No, I think it makes me more vested in it because I get to know a bunch of students here, right? Like, it's different if you know the people that that you see every day. So it endears you more to your beat, for lack of a better term. If you get to know the people on your beat, then you're going to take it more serious. You're going to take it more personal. So you're going to work harder. You're going to try harder. You're going to just be a better officer in general, I think.
What's it like working in Bend after working in SoCal? Like, what's the police world like that's different here in Bend?
It's definitely slower here. Like in San Diego, you have gangs, you have shootings all the time, you have stolen cars, there's car chases. There's a lot of like quote fun cop stuff there, and I had a lot of that when I worked there. And coming to Bend, it's definitely different. Like there isn't a lot of that stuff here. So but that's why I moved here, right? Like I didn't move here to Bend for the police work. I moved here because I wanted a safer city to raise my family, right? So, it's definitely been an adjustment, changing to the pace here. It's not, I mean, it's busy, but it's just different stuff. Like it's a lot of domestic violence calls. It's a lot of, like we call them unwanteds, when you have like a houseless person in the driveway of a business and you want them moved along or something like that. Like there's a lot of that stuff here, which we had in San Diego, but those were not the more like, I guess, fun calls, for lack of a better term. Like, you know, you wanted to get into something exciting, right? Like that's why most people become cops, right? To drive fast and catch bad guys.
100%. I mean, I guess that even leads me into, I've highly considered this career and still kind of am. What insight can you give of just like genuinely being a police officer, getting into being a police officer? Like what's the pros and cons of the job?
You're not going to do something in entertainment?
That's the other one. That's the other one. I'm trying.
The first time I met you, I was like, this kid's going to be like in TV or movies or something. But
I can hope.
But yeah, so communication and writing, those are like, everyone thinks, oh, you got to be like super big, or you got to be able to fight people, it's helpful. But for every 2 minutes of fun that you have on the job, you've got probably 2 or 3 hours of paperwork. So schooling is very important. Learning to write well, to communicate well. I mean, that's the number one thing. I would suggest you don't have to, if you want to become a police officer, basically the requirements are you have to be 21, at least here in Bend, 21, and either 2 years of some kind of school or professional experience like military or something like that. You don't need to study criminal justice. I mean, you can if you want in college, but that's not really, like I was journalism, like zero police anything in journalism, right? But I learned how to write really well. So that's definitely been a benefit to me in my career. And again, just being able to talk to people, being social is a good tool as well, because you have to go up to complete strangers and be like, hey, how's it going? What's happening today? Like, what are you doing? Is this your car you're working on, or did you steal this car? Why is there a screwdriver in the ignition? Like you have to be able to say all that kind of stuff. So you don't necessarily have to. And once you make the decision and you get hired as a police officer, they send you to the police academy. So they teach you all. That's usually in San Diego it was 6 months. I think in Oregon it's 16 weeks, I want to say. But they teach you about all the laws, about all officer safety, all kinds of tactics. And then once you're done with the academy, you go and you do what's called field training, where you ride in a car with another police officer. Then that's like on the job training. So it's basically a year of your life. So you don't necessarily have to like go to college for that. Plus, you also got to think about, like, let's say, I mean, policing can be dangerous. You could get injured. Mm-hmm. If you have to medically retire from the job, what are you going to do after? If you only have a criminal justice degree,
have a fallback.
Maybe a little bit limited. So yeah, have something to fall back on for sure.
Well, maybe a little lighter. When did you guys come to Bend High?
I was freshman year.
Freshman year, yeah.
I came 2 years ago, my sophomore year. But this is your freshman year, as you said.
It is.
And what a year to come in.
Please don't throw me in a trash can.
No, yeah, I will not be doing that. You came in mid-construction. You came in amidst a lot of change. So, how is that? Is it intimidating? Is it like, maybe this was the right time to sneak in, no one will notice me? They're too busy looking at the new building.
No, I don't know any different, right? Like, this is how I came in. So this is it. It definitely has more challenges just from the safety aspect, because you have a giant construction site next door, and there's fences that are very easily to jump over, to doors that are unlocked and all that kind of stuff. So from that perspective, but as far as, the student body, like, you guys don't seem to really care about the construction. Like, you go about your day, everything seems fine. Like, I think that's great that you don't worry about that kind of stuff. Like, you just come to school, stay in your lane, do your kid stuff, do your school stuff, and that's it. Yeah. So. Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I think it's cool to be like that. I'll be here to be to close out one chapter and start the next chapter, right? Like I'm going to be here for like the end of this part of Bend High and then also for the start of the new Bend High. So I think that's kind of cool.
You're the transition team.
I am.
There you go, keeping it safe. Okay, well, here, if we flip the script a little bit, do you have any questions for us you want to throw our way?
Yeah. Why do you guys all have to vape in the bathroom all the time? What's the deal with that?
You know, this might be the wrong crowd.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not talking to the three of you.
Of course.
The three of you.
I mean, I fully agree. I don't really understand it. I mean, you know, just wait till you're out of school. If I'm gonna be honest, I mean, firstly,
That's
don't
so
do
refreshing
it. But
to hear
secondly,
you say that as a student.
But
like,
secondly, why are you like? You know, someone's gonna catch you.
I know.
Teachers are always in and out of the bathrooms, and if not, I feel like a lot of the students would just snitch.
And then when these kids do get caught, they lie.
I wasn't vaping in the bathroom.
And we know that you're lying. Like, and it's amazing to me how quickly a lot of the students lie straight to my face, even when I know that they're lying. It's like, dude, I have video of you doing this. Like, I have a picture of you doing whatever you've done. I know it's you.
Is this a daily issue? Like, are you coming across students every day, or is it a little sparse?
Not daily, but I'd say at least 50% of the week. Yeah, it's something of the student doing something silly that they shouldn't be doing. And
I don't know.
And then they like straight up just, no, it wasn't me. I'm like, bro, you're wearing the same clothes as I have in this picture right here.
I'm curious if it's some sort of like a rebellion thing. Like sort of,
I
in
mean,
some ways rebelling against the school system, in other ways sort of, I wouldn't call it civil disobedience because that's obviously a very different thing, but maybe it's justified in their minds in that way.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm kind of making light of it, but I mean, you don't know what people are going through, right? Like there's some kids that have a great home life and some kids that don't have such a great home life. And so you don't know what's going on. So, I mean, just try to be kind to everybody and try to just give people a little bit of benefit of the doubt is what I try to do. And I mean, as many different things that people do, there's different reasons why they do it, right? So I don't judge the kids. I'm just making jokes right now. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, you don't want to get in trouble. I mean, I was a teenager. I did dumb stuff. I'm sure I immediately lied also when I was
totally
confronted with that. Like, why'd you do that? That wasn't me.
How's the freshman, as a freshman police officer, how does high school look different from when you were in it?
You guys are nicer now. Like, I was not, shall we say, one of the cool kids in high school, I guess. Like, I was a BMXer.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not then though. Like the skater kids were cool, but the BMXers for some reason in my school, like we were not in the cool groups, I guess. And I was on the swim team, but yeah, I was not super involved in school. Like me and my friends were like kind of like I never went to a football game in high school. I didn't go to prom. I didn't do any of that stuff.
Prom, really?
I was kind of scared of girls, you know.
You know, all right, that's fair.
Girls are scary. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you know. Well, you have a kid, you're probably married.
It's you guys are like, it was really cliquey at my high school, and kids were a lot meaner to each other. Like again, I'm not in class with all of you guys, obviously, but from what I see just walking around, like people don't mess with people. Like there's no like fights. Like no one's putting people in garbage cans. Like that literally happened at my high school.
Yeah. I think I kind of agree with that. I feel like we're generally
maybe
pretty good.
Totally.
Yeah,
I'm pretty proud of Bend High. I think we're doing a good job.
I agree. Bend High as a whole, I feel like we do good, and maybe even
agree.
better than the other high schools. But
obviously,
I kind of just hold
Ben High is the best high school.
Ben High is the best high
Come
school.
on.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's not even a question.
I spent like 10 minutes talking to a lady in Target yesterday, convincing her to send her daughter to Ben High. She's like, no, she's going Caldera. I'm like, let me tell you why she's not. Okay. Genuine, true story. Okay. All right. For the next and final segment, these are the questions that the people really wanted to know. So much so that they submitted them. It is hot seat time, John. So we're each got a couple questions that people submitted.
I'm getting a call.
You gotta go. Okay. So this is on the fly. You have not seen these. You do not know what these are. And here we go.
I'm ready.
First off, Wendy Freese, my own mother, she asks, what is the thing you most want parents to understand about either Ben High, their kids, or just the school in general?
That every person that I've met here in the admin or the teaching staff to a person has your students' best interest in mind. Like they really want you guys to succeed. They want you guys to graduate. They want you guys to be successful. So, I mean, it's it's amazing to me. Like, because some kids think, oh, like this teacher's out to get me, or this assistant principal's out to get me. Like that is not the case.
No.
So everyone here wants you all to succeed and to graduate and to go on and do great things.
That's killer. Next up, Mrs. Cowan asks, what's the craziest SRO experience that you can share?
There's a few. I had a third grader try to hit me with a stick.
Third?
Yeah. Third or fourth grade? It was third grade. Yeah, he eloped from one of the schools here, and he just did not want to go back. And I was trying to talk to him, and he was on the top of this hill, and he was like rolling big like lava rocks down the hill at me, and I was trying to just come on down. I'll turn the lights on and show you how the radio works. And he locked eyes with me and just came down the hill, and he picked up a stick, and he was just growling, and he charged me with a stick. And
Assault on an officer.
Yeah, so I grabbed the stick and put him in the back of the car and waited for Mom to show up. But that was pretty funny. I also had to talk a kid down about you talking about Slim Jims. He was upset as another elementary school kid. Do you guys know who Randy the Macho Man Savage is?
No, and I wish I did, though.
You should Google it. Google Randy Macho Man Savage Slim Jims and look at the 1980s commercial. You won't be disappointed. But anyway, so just talking to kids about just whatever it is that I can get them to calm down with, and that was Slim Jims that day. So,
wow. Okay. Yeah. Next up, Amaya asks, how was your day?
Great. It's always a great day here at Bend High.
I cannot agree more, truthfully. Next up, Iris Marshall asks, what is the best thing about the long blue line? Even though it's your first year here, so
Yeah, as a freshman, I'm not so big a part of the long blue line yet, but I think it is cool that there is that tradition that goes back. I mean, there's teachers here that went here, right? Like, so
100%.
That says something. If like you went here and you think it was great enough that you want to come back and work here. Like, I think that speaks volumes about the culture here and how good the school is. So
yeah, we kind of just pump out our own teachers is what it seems like.
Yeah, I mean,
molding them.
We had Mr. Claire on the podcast last week, and he came here, and his dad came here. So
aunts and uncles.
He's got tons of family.
Mr. Craven, Mr. Reese, like a lot of teachers have been here before.
So like back when things were in black and white, that's how far back they got.
Exactly.
It was the gray line then, because it wasn't
the long gray line. Not as good of a ring. You got a couple questions.
All right, next question. This one's from Ella. Was there anything you ever had to deal with that was just not on your bingo card? You just did not expect it.
There is one thing, but I don't think it's appropriate for me to share.
Can't be on the podcast.
Can't be on the podcast. I can tell you guys about it off air, but it's pretty, Let me think of something else. Probably the same third grade kid coming at me with a stick.
It's pretty random.
That was like my second week as an SRO, and I was like, what the heck? Like, this never happened to be on patrol, and now I've got a third grader charging me with a stick. So I'd say that one would definitely be on the...
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
All right, what is your favorite color?
Ooh, my wife will love that. She always asks that question. I'm going to go with... And I'm going to be car nerd here for a second. Fathom Blue, which is a color that a 1970 Chevy Chevelle came in.
I know exactly what color you're talking about.
Oh,
that's a great color.
There you go.
Car guy over here.
All right. Quincy asks, what's your favorite or one of your favorite faculty members and why?
Ooh, favorite faculty member?
This is really an important moment.
I would say Jeff Anderson, because we talk about bike stuff together. He's a fellow bike nerd. And so he likes old Schwinns. I like old Schwinns. And his classroom's right around the corner from me. So he's who I see all the time.
I love Mr. Anderson.
Awesome. Yeah.
I can agree.
Sorry, Mr. Anderson, right? I can't use first names.
You can. Not us, though.
Yeah, never. All right. Kyla asks, if you could have a whole year off to do anything, anywhere in the world, where and what would it be?
Ooh, a whole year off? I would travel for sure. Yeah, I would just, if I had all the money in the world and I had no job to be at, I would just travel the world. I would go some warm places and go snorkeling and swim in the ocean and swim with sharks, and I'd go skiing in the Alps. I would just try to just experience as much as I can.
Sounds like a good year.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, this is coming at you from Lynn. Do you have any insight on the replacement of 2 SROs in the last 2 years?
I think they just timed out. That's all it was. There was, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
This is from Anna. What's the best part of your office?
The best part of my office, I would say, the window, so I can stare out and think about what I'd be doing if I wasn't at work right now.
Do you have like a secret candy stash or a secret in your office?
But I need to. I do.
You need to.
I just have a drawer full of all the random junk you guys bring to school that gets confiscated.
Oh, that's pretty fun.
So that drawer's kind of cool. Yeah, that and probably the little paper darts that my kid comes in and shoots into the ceiling every day after school.
There you go.
We're trying to fill the whole ceiling with darts. So if there's any kid that wants to come and make paper darts and stick them in my ceiling, you're welcome to, because I'm trying to fill the whole ceiling by the time the building gets torn down.
There you go.
That'd be sweet.
That's an amazing offer. Okay, this is from Pluto. Why do you drive your cop car to school if you're only working in the school?
Well, because this isn't the only school that I have to go to. So I have Bend High. I've got 3 elementary schools. I've got the Nest, and I've got the downtown facility that I'm responsible for. And then also there's 5 SROs five SROs for the whole city. And if they're busy, then I may have to go to their school to do something over there. So while this is my main gig here, I go all over the city, all different kind of schools to deal with all kinds of stuff. Like the kid with the stick, that wasn't a Bend High kid.
Right, sure.
Kid with the Slim Jim's not here.
How do you like split the time? Because I feel like I see you here quite often.
Well, I'm here most of the time, so that's my main goal, is to be here as much as possible, and then I just get called away as is needed. So
Yeah.
that's because I'm a ninja. Like I'm everywhere at once.
The people need
You never know where I'm gonna be.
It's like
Well,
Batman.
That's amazing. I think it's time to just ask, do we have any final thoughts, any final topics, final stories that we want to share, any of us?
I don't know. I guess I have one. What's your favorite car?
Ooh, okay. It would be the 1970 Chevelle with a big block and a 4-speed, or 1968 Dodge Charger with a Hemi in it.
That'd be sweet. With the big blower?
I don't think I need the blower. I don't need to go fast and furious. No, I think it's more like sleeper.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess I just want to ask you one final question is, what one piece of advice can you give to the graduating class of 2025?
Be kind, because you don't know what people are struggling with.
There you go.
Love that.
Okay, well, thank you for tuning in to the BSH Brief. I want to give a huge shout out to John Horvath for sharing his story and to our amazing student guests for holding it down. You can catch us next week with a new episode, new guests, and the same Lava Bear energy. Until next time, stay proud, stay classy, and stay brief, Bend High. That's a wrap, everybody. Episode 2 in the books.
Very nice. Very nice.
Killer.